I bought two. I told myself at the beginning of this video I wasn't gonna drop any of my books. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. My name is Emma, complet grad, film student, and as of recently, I've gone a bit... I've become a little bit excessive. I mean, if you've watched my channel for long enough or know me personally, I have the extra gene. I have it. It's a problem. I bought more books. Honestly, it's because I've been back in London and I've been able to physically buy books in bookshops. I got carried away. I suppose there are worse things you can get carried away with. I have to officially put myself on a no by now. This was over like just a couple weeks, very quickly. If you watch my vlogs, you'll know that I have zero impulse control when it comes to buying books because I consider them morally sound objects. So I'm like, oh, I do no damage by buying this book because I'm enriched in my mind, but my bank account hates me. This is cute, but it's not functional for, it's not fit for purpose. This stash, I've been calling it my book stash. The only two of these are fiction, which if you know me, that's a rare occurrence. Yet most of these have taken up lodging higher up on my bookshelf. So I have my Orwell classics, then I have my vintage and penguin classics, and then up there I've got my like assorted bunch of books. It's up there that you can't see when I film. Let's go by size order. If you guys watched my last video or any of my recent book videos, you'll know I love the Penguin Modern Classics. These are like £1, £2 each. These are, as far as your spending goes with books, absolutely worth the money. I'm sorry, £1 for Achebe. Fuck yeah. I've started reading because I couldn't help myself. Audre Lorde, The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House. So I mentioned ages ago that I wanted to read this and I finally found it in a bookshop. I bought all of these at the same time. I just got very, very excited. I've started reading this. I've never read any of her work before, but I'm honestly like, sometimes you find these people and you read their stuff and you just instantly become obsessed. I bought a collection of her poetry because I couldn't help myself. It's like you read someone and you're just like, where have you been all of my life? So I'm very grateful for the more recent Black Lives Matter movement because otherwise it would have probably taken me a lot longer to find her, and that I can't believe that would have been the case. Like, and the thing as well, right, with these ones is A, they're cheap, B, you can then like dabble in to loads of different authors. It's like you get that sweet cross-section. It's almost like a taster kind of thing, you know, when you're in a bakery or something and they're like, would you like to try this biscuit? And then you try the biscuit and they're like, oh, and then you buy more stuff. That's basically what this is, especially considering the fact that like I said, I bought more of her stuff from Penguin, so I'm like, well, I bought Achebe as well. It's basically like a little taster to see if you like someone's writing almost, and like some of their like key essays. And I guess even if they're mainly known for like writing fiction or whatever, if they have these essays, then you can sort of see, you know, very directly the author's voice, not like the narrator's voice. It is their voice, it is what they stand for, it is like their ethos and their philosophy then gets filtered down. Not filtered down, given to you directly. It would be filtered down in their novels and stuff, in their fiction. You get a more of a sense of who they are. And I've read a couple of her poems already and you can sort of see the way that that translates in her more like academic stuff and then into her creative stuff. So like that sort of intertwining is like really great to see. So that's why I was super excited, obviously, about reading this. It did start off as something that I wanted to read because of Black Lives Matter and because of race and stuff, but like, she is so much more than that. Oh my god, I've become obsessed with her. Actually, let's just talk about then the poetry that I bought. I bought Audre Lorde, The Black Unicorn. My god, some of these are just, as you would imagine, poetry. I read a couple of these and then I was like amusing myself with like TikToks about Gabby Hanna. I'm wondering if this is maybe a bit niche. You guys like BookTube, so if you've seen her book of poetry and then you read something like this and you understand that like that is trash and this is where the creativity is at. My god. And I think, I don't know, I personally have the preconceived idea that poetry is generally something you study and it's not something we necessarily enjoy as much just like on a casual basis. And I think maybe that comes from the fact that at school we are taught that poetry is hard work. Think about the amount of times that you've read poetry. Have you had to sit down with your pen and analyse it and then write an essay on it? Did you get asked what the themes were? We're basically conditioned to think that poetry is hard work. Then we become averse to it completely. But I think the relationship between what I've read of her so far, her poetry and then her essays are beautiful. Such a mastery of language. It's just incredible. And I'm like, she's amazing. I honestly cannot recommend her enough. I've read a couple of her essays and a couple of her poems. I've dipped a toe in so far and I'm like gobsmacked. Honestly, I think very rarely do I read someone and then I'm immediately just floored. Like this happened with me in Montaigne though. I like read like 1 or 2 of his essays and I was like, I can feel something happening. And then every single time you read anything else I have, like you just become more and more smitten. It's almost the word, right? Basically, it's love at first sight, love at first letter. I can feel an obsession brewing. From a self-described black lesbian mother warrior poet, these soaring urgent essays on the power of women in poetry and anger are filled with darkness and light. I have been a woman for a long time, beware my smile, I am treacherous with old magic. Oh lord, I'm so excited. Filled with beauty, rage and tenderness, Audre Lorde's most acclaimed poetry collection speaks of mothers and children, female strength and vulnerability, renewal and revenge, goddesses and warriors, ancient magic and contemporary America. These are fearless affirmations of identity told with incantatory power. Hello, I'm dyslexic. I also make videos on that. So excited. Fuck. Oh my god. So excited. I'm sorry, like Gabby Hanna poetry, I honestly like it's like you can tell that they've never ever experienced poetry outside of those really awful like Tumblr Pinteresty things. The black and white and like they're short and then it's like all lowercase and then it's got like the initials at the bottom and maybe like a line drawing of someone with like a cigarette or a rose or something. Anyway, yeah, I bought Andy Warhol Fame. There's an exhibition of his, I think, that's meant to be on at the Tate. So I'm gonna drag one of my friends too. I'm like, hello, let's go do art galleries socially distant. Yay. For those of you who don't know, Andy Warhol is the one with like all the pop art kind of prints and stuff. Again, it's for like trans medium kind of thing. Like, we know his art. I would like to know the artist a bit more. If you know me well or if you've watched my channel for long enough, I have a distinct dislike for modern art.Maybe it does spill it in a little bit more to contemporary stuff and my attitudes towards that. I'm becoming less pretentious, I promise. Modern art, I'm still not sold in it, but pop art, I'm curious. Especially obviously because, there we go again, Sontag talks about pop art. She mentioned it briefly in this whole like the sensibilities essay that she has, and like there's a discussion of high culture and low culture, and like I think Warhol is a great example of that. It's like, is he both? Is he in the middle? Is he an anomaly? Is this like mass produced sort of stuff? Where is that line? I find it fascinating and I don't know, I guess I am curious about Fame. I mean, I do broadcast myself to, I almost have 3 million views on this channel. That's kind of mad. I am sneaking up on 40,000 subscribers. I don't know when this video goes up. Who knows? I may already be there. So yeah, maybe from like a little bit of a narcissistic point of view, I'm curious about the fame aspect. I guess then that's also more like traditional fame as we know it, like that kind of celebrity. And I don't know if there are really enough people who are like celebs who ever necessarily like, you know, write essays on that kind of stuff. And then the people who would write essays are not necessarily famous in that kind of same celebrity-esque way. They're very well known, famous, yeah, but like they're not like celebrities. So I find that curious, so I want to know more. George Orwell, Notes on Nationalism. I'm like 90% sure. Yeah, I have Orwell. Where's here? Do I? I bet you every single one of these is in here. I just forgot about it because I'm an idiot. Emma, 2014. I've had this a long time. Orwell is worth the investment, I would say. Oh, I bet you I have all of these. Yeah, I've got it. Notes on Nationalism. God damn it, Emma. The 3 in here are Notes on Nationalism, Anti-Semitism in Britain and the Sporting Spirit. Right, which one of my friends would like this? Nominate yourselves, you can have it. Oh, God damn it, Emma. If you're interested in Orwell or like any of his essays and you like his fiction, just buy the essays. Collected essays of an author you like are always very, very good, especially when they're mainly known for their fiction, but it's just nice to sometimes have it a bit more overtly said. I think it's just sometimes easy to place. What am I like? I've done this before. Well, I didn't do it before, my mum did it before. I bought myself a copy of Machiavelli's The Prince. And then my mother bought me exactly the same copy, so I gave it to one of my friends. I was like, well, I don't need this. Anyway, Chinua Achebe, Africa's Tarnished name. Continuing along the line of like decolonializing my bookshelf, I've been really curious for ages. I'm just gonna do this and then I'll come back to that one. His Things Fall Apart. I mentioned it in my last book video. I'm absolutely psyched because I bought it. Extra psyched because it's super thin. So I should be able to, like, you know, read this quite quickly. Really wanted this. And then obviously I found this. So I was like, the thing is, when you enjoy someone's fiction, you just get drawn to like what their other opinions are and you just want to know more about this person. Because it's like one thing when like you vie with how something is written, but what they're writing about and their attitudes and stuff like that. Obviously you're going to enjoy their essays, so like why not expand your horizons of that author and like just get more familiar with them. So I bought this very much because I've been dying to read Things Fall Apart. Electrifying essays on the history, complexity and appropriation of a continent from the father of modern African literature. Continue to decolonialize your bookshelves, your minds, and that whiteness is not default. So I just wanted to hear what his essays have to say. And yes, Ben, his book is obviously very famous and we were told so many times in Complet to read it. And now I finally have it. In a way for me, it's kind of coming full circle. Fame, manslaughter, exile, missionaries, colonial governors. Honestly, this sounds like a wild ride. I'm quite excited for this. I'm not quite excited for this. I'm fucking dying to read this. And then, you guys know that I absolutely adored, I'm not gonna get it down, it's too high up. You guys know that I absolutely adored Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's Half of a Yellow Sun. So then when I saw a manifesto in 15 suggestions, I'm sorry I can't do names, I'm really shit at them. I couldn't help myself. I also have We Should All Be Feminists, which is based on the TED Talk. I'll link that down below if you guys haven't seen that or read it. So I've known about her for a very long time. So it took me a very long time to read her fiction, but I finally did. I just find her super curious and like, as someone who is into more like feminist discourse and whatnot, like I said in the text of my other video, I don't want to be like, if you're into feminism, because everybody should be into feminism, because everybody should be into the political, economical and social equality of the sexes. So it's not a case of if you're into feminism, it's just if you're into like feminist theory, writing and discourse, like I am. I just find she's a fascinating person to read. And you guys know that I'm a hoe for like continuing editions. So far I've got all of her stuff in like the same series, so I'm quite pleased about that. How to raise a child to be feminist. Here are 15 compelling, direct and perceptive suggestions to empower a daughter to become a strong, independent woman. Together they start a new and urgently needed conversation about what it really means to be a woman today. In terms of third wave feminism, more contemporary feminism, she will end up being and is a key person, a key player. Just also, you read her, again, she's one of those, you read her and she just exudes intelligence. It's like, fuck. She again is one of those, I'm like, I wish I could be this clever. I will never be this clever, but like, I can be aspirational. Just a wonderful woman through and through. Continuing the non-fiction train. I said this in my vlog, but I've been watching Mindhunter. This is not the book Mindhunter is based on. Mindhunter, the series, is based on Mindhunter's book. However, it's about FBI agents and stuff, which then jogged my memory as a friend of mine had recommended this book, which is Never Split the Difference, Negotiating as If Your Life Depended on It by Voss. He's a former FBI negotiator. So I'm just like, okay, I'm a woman. Women are very bad at negotiating. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Imagine if we all had the confidence of a cis straight white man. This world is built for their confidence. So I'm like, maybe we should just learn to negotiate and bullshit a bit more like they do. Considering the fact that I want to go into the film industry, like I don't want to be underpaid. I don't want to like sell myself short. I would like to be paid what I am worth, and I would very like to think this will help facilitate me getting that. You're not gonna pay me less because I have tits, all right? So yes, I'm just super excited to read these. Yes, I like reading books like this too. I don't share that with you guys that much because you come for me for classics, and then if I'm gonna be like, right, what else do I have? How to Win Friends and Gain Influence, Talk Like TED, Harvard Business Review, Breakthrough Thinking. Look, you're gonna laugh at me. Emma Angeline on Goodreads, if you haven't already. For all of my ladies out there, we suck at negotiating. We suck. We suck. Like this, I'm gonna stop saying suck already, but like, I think we could all do with reading this. Another point though, I will not fucking read Lean In. I will not read it. I refuse to read it. So I feel like this is more of like a practical thing that I can do. We do still live in a world designed for men. So let's just learn to negotiate so we can get a place at their table and then destroy said table and rebuild the table to be a table that does not require me to read a fucking book on how to get there. You know? That side, I think is fucking interesting though. And also, there's so much you can like learn about like psychology and how you can like Yeah, manipulate is the word. And how you can like control the narrative. So fascinating. I find it honestly so fascinating. I almost dropped that. Anyway, this will be, I don't think there will be a single one of you that is gonna be like, ooh, by this, but I am like, so excited to read this book. This is In the Blink of an Eye. It's by someone called Walter Murch. This is a book about editing. You all come to me for classics content and I'm here like, hi, this is a book about editing. My editing lecturer recommended this and honestly it's been on my mind for ages, and so mum did an Amazon order recently and I was like, oh, I'ma sneak this on there. The recipes I bought in bookshops, specifically Dawn Books by the way. If you guys haven't seen my bookshop tour video, you should. But I really just want to get better at editing. So yeah, there's a lot to do with like the software you use and stuff. The basic theory and principles of editing always stay the same. I watched a video of mine, I think my second episode of my weekly vlog. Season 1 is there. The editing is bad. The editing is bad. With editing, it's like always like there has to be a reason for a cut. There always has to be a reason. And with that, like, I notice it and it's jarring because I never have a reason as to why there is a cut, and there's never a reason as to why that clip is that length, aside from the fact that that's how long I filmed it for. As I have evolved, seeing the like theoretical side of editing and like noticing it and being like, look, this is good editing, this is bad editing. When I've evolved with like my vlog or like a video like this, or actually more like film narrative editing, like honestly, even though like the same principles of just like cut and like moving things around basically always stay the same, just like how you apply like the other theoretical stuff, subject to the kind of storytelling you are doing. Oh my god, I love this shit. Like, I love it so much. And also, notice at school, everyone fucking hates editing. I'm like, what the fuck? You guys suck. This shit is great. This is also short, so I'm excited about this. I don't know how many of you this is gonna be an interest to. And also, it's kind of fascinating when like directors and like editors form like their little partnerships. Some people like will work together for like decades, and like, you know, it helps like with how stylistic the film is, and then like, you know, if you have a really good relationship with your editor and you can get that across, like if you find a good editor, don't fucking let them go. Oh, I love this so much. And I know I said this in my vlog, Scorsese has edited with Thelma Swanmaker for like fucking decades. Apparently there's this quote that's like, I can't believe you edit such violent films, and then she's like, they're not violent until I edit them. We love. Also, fun fact, for a lot of very highly decorated female editors, so if I don't make films, I'm still gonna stick them together for you because it's so much fun. Oh, so I'm excited about this because I want to know more. Like, I just want to see what I don't know yet. That's like the reason I went to film school, isn't it? Started film school and then Corona got in the way. Being self-taught for so many years and then like learning like new things, it's like, it's like all of the synapses in my brain have just kind of gone like, fireworks up in here. If you really want to get me excited, talk about editing to me. Anyway, I bought Murakami. I bought two. I told myself at the beginning of this video I wasn't gonna drop any of my books. Do you see why I have to tell myself that? So yeah, I bought Murakami. I bought what I talk about when I talk about running. And then I also bought Norwegian Wood because we're reading this for our girls book club, because this is my friend Ellie's suggestion. So, but I bought Murakami, what I talk about when I talk about running, because I'd saved it to read on Goodreads. Because the editions that I'd saved were different, I didn't put two and two together that it was by the same person. Duh. Until I was like looking through, because you can switch editions on Goodreads, by the way, if you didn't know that, because it really annoys me when I'm reading an edition, but the edition I have saved on Goodreads is different, and then when I'm like updating the pages that I've read, it's not the same. It's really annoying. So if you wanted to know, you can actually do that. What I talk about when I talk about running, this is like part travelogue, part memoir, part philosophizing, kind of. It's when he's training for the, I think he's training for the New York Marathon. Equal parts travelogue, training log, and reminiscence. This revealing memoir covers his 4-month preparation for the 2005 New York City Marathon and settings ranging from Tokyo's Jingu-Gaen Gardens, where he once shared the course with an Olympian, to the Charles River in Boston. It's Boston. If you didn't know, I run. I went on a run today, actually, fun fact. I've almost run 100 kilometers this month. I'm really excited about it. I've run 98.2 kilometers right now, and I have a challenge on the app that I use to run 100, so I need to literally do just this tiny few more K. And I mean, hopefully I will have done it by the time this video goes up, but I'm gonna run another half marathon in like 2 days, so just distance, not like a race or anything. I just want to talk about running literally all the time. I must have bored half of you to tears with the fact that I talk about it so much in my vlogs. I'm sorry. It was always a big part of my childhood. It was a massive part of my childhood, actually. It wasn't particularly dominant in my teenage years, but it was still there. And then I stopped running for sixth form and all of uni. And then I started running again at the beginning of this year. I've almost run 500k. I'm so excited. I'll do a dedicated video about it when I've run 1,000 kilometers. But I just want to hear other people talk about running. I'm so excited and I can't wait until like races start again. Can't wait to do like my first proper race. Honestly, I'm so gassed just about the idea of doing that. But yeah, I just want to hear people talk about running. And considering then that it's not where I was going to read anyway, I'm like, well, I may as well continue the trend. If it wasn't by Murakami, maybe I wouldn't have bought it. I don't know, but man, I am excited to read this. And again, it's not particularly long, the font isn't particularly small or anything, so we can get through this, we can get through here quite quickly. I just literally, to my friends who've run as well, I literally love to talk because I'm like, please just let me talk about it with you. That's all I want to talk about. I find it fucking fascinating. I almost kind of, not really, but sort of ran negative splits today. I was like, haha, look at me fucking go. I just love talking about it. It's so much fun. I know it's annoying and I know you guys love books, but it's a book about running. Emma has many passions. Emma gets far too excited about things. Emma's now talking about herself in the third person. Like, it snuck its way with a couple of these onto, I have a little stash by my bedside table of like books that I'm like, must read immediately. This and the Audre Lorde is on there because I can't help myself. Ellie recommended this. I haven't read anything Japanese ever. Yeah, ever. And I mean, for a confident student, that's really fucking bad, isn't it? I just want to read all the good shit. And clearly, he's also the good shit. When he hears her favourite Beatles song, Toru Watanabe recalls his first love, Naoko, the girlfriend of his best friend, Kizuki. Immediately he is transported back almost 20 years to his student days in Tokyo, adrift in a world of uneasy friendships, casual sex, passion, loss and desire, to a time when an impetuous young woman called Midori marched into his life and he had to choose between the future and the past. I'm excited. Also, I can't get over how beautiful these vintage editions are, because if you look over there you can just see the red ones are vintage editions, these black ones are classics. These are technically vintage editions, but they're a little bit special, which means they can go right there and they bridge the gap between the two collections. I promise you, I am a stable human being. I also get why you seem to think I have ADHD, but I don't. I just get really excited about shit that I'm passionate about. But yeah, I bought more books because, as I've said before, I can't help myself. But now I am officially on a no-buy because the amount of times I keep having to rearrange my bookshelf. I've had to put quite a big stack of books on my complete top shelf, which you can't, I don't think you've ever even seen it. Because I'm running out of space. This has not even been in this flat for a year and I am already running out of space with my books. Guys, this is bad. I need to have a little bit more impulse control. Not just with books, with everything, but like, let's not get into that. So I really need to tone it the fuck down. I want to know by. Stop recommending me books. Don't do it, don't you fucking dare. I also would like to issue a formal apology to everyone that has messaged me that said that they bought books because I bought books. I am aware I am an influencer, so I would like to apologise. But then also not, because if my influence is making you guys buy good literature and like philosophy and essays to expand your fucking minds and grow as human beings, there are worse things to have to apologise for. But a lot of non-fiction. This is a bit more of a non-fiction stash. And I'm probably gonna do a 24-hour readathon soon to like try and actually get through some of these and get my ass to like sit down and actually read. I'm honestly most gassed about the Murakami, the Achebe and the Lorde. That is what I'm most excited to read. Anyway, let me know of any recent acquisitions you guys have that you are just dying to read. Like, what are you like literally buzzing to read? Thank you very, very much for watching. Like, subscribe and all the jazz, and I will see you guys on Sunday. Bye. I have too much obsessive energy. That's why I do so many productive things. I literally have an addictive personality.